Okay. It's yours, Dallas.
Good evening, everyone. Oh, that was loud. Good evening, everyone. I'm actually going to start a timer to make sure I am on time. I'm going to have to take a peek at it. But I'm so glad to be here. Hello, marvelous ladies. Thank you. Thank you very much. You're excited. I'm super glad to be here today. My name is Dallas Cohen, the Rebound Coach from thereboundcoach.com. And I'm incredibly happy to be with you today. When I say that, I mean it two ways. Number one, I'm happy to be in this room with all of you, but also, I'm happy to be alive. I was married for 10 years to a man who wanted me dead. And that doesn't make sense for someone like me. I grew up in a stable home. I had two parents who loved God, loved each other, was married for a lifetime, and was a good example. And the statistics say you're not supposed to have any trouble if that's your upbringing. But at the same time, I was 8 to the time I was 16. And that radically how you see yourself. Those are identity forming years. It affects how you relate to God in a household of faith. It changes the way you relate to men. So fast forward, I met the man that I married and eventually divorced. And there were definitely red flags. This was not like Jekyll and Hyde. But I'm a praying woman. And I believe God's answer was yes. And because I believe that, I thought whatever came, we'd outlast it, we overcome it. But God would swoop in and save the day. Things would magically change. And I'll tell you, he did swoop in and save the day, just not in the way I was expecting. So we got into this cycle of what I call coping and crisis. So this is where you never quite get satisfied, healthy. You're walking on eggshells, you're trying not to upset him, you're trying not to make the abuse worse. And it doesn't matter what you do, it still happens. And that's and you do the coping dance for a while. You survive. I was incredibly suicidal, but I survived, right? And you do that for a while, and then there's a crisis. So no matter how carefully you do the dance, something blows up. And it's not just a little thing, like it's a big thing, and like everything's all over the floor, and you have to reset your life again. And so we did that cycle for the better part of 10 years, over 9 years for sure. And the biggest crisis was end of 2019, beginning of 2020. We were in one of those blow-ups, and he left for another woman. Now, he was a serial adulterer the whole time. However, he actually left this time. The next day, I find out him and that woman were plotting my murder. Yeah, what you said, like, and had been for months by the time I found out about it. It's nuts, and this is the record scratch moment in the movie, right? Like everything stops, and you have some really important decisions to make, and you're threatened on every level as a wife, as a mom, as a woman, as a child of God, right? And as a coach, I've been a life coach for 20 years, and at that time I was coaching marriage and family. So if you can imagine, and hard, difficult marriages, because I was in a difficult marriage, I believe in it, I'm trying to help people. So if you can imagine building an identity and a platform around a particular idea, and that being the thing that falls apart. And the way I say it is, it's like a pregnancy, eventually it will show. And so through a series of supernatural events, which I can't even begin to tell you all of that in 15 minutes, I am here, my children are here, we're alive, we're together. And the way I share that is I could choose the identity that my ex-husband had planned for me. He actually had a death date, he wrote it down, like, crazy is not the word. I could allow that to tell me who I was, what I was allowed to be, how I was allowed to express faith, how I was allowed to be a woman, how I was allowed to parent, or I could choose life. And so the name of my second book is I Choose Life. Rewrite your love story and change your legacy. And that's not just about our romantic love story, because the issues that come in romantic love stories start well before. And this is about how we learned to love and how we learned to be loved. That's a love story that existed well before we met any romantic partners. But it definitely plays out. So if you've ever experienced abuse, betrayal, or trauma, or you love someone who has, that book is for you. If you're into like SVU, like you like the whodunits and you're like the crime solver, that's for you. There's receipts in there, baby, and they're real. It sounds like a movie, but it's not. So I believe that they weren't successful in taking me out for a couple of reasons. Number one, because God Almighty is on the throne. And number two, because there's destiny in this moment. In every single opportunity we have, in every day that we have, there's destiny in the moment. If you woke up this morning, there's a reason. And I just encourage you to find what that reason is for you. Let me not go off script. I totally understand. So this is a divine opportunity for those who take advantage of it. It will be a life-shifting moment if you allow. If you allow. And so the topic that I chose to you that we would do is Superwoman's secret power, how to get from trauma to 10x. So for the next, I got like 10 minutes. For the next 10 minutes, which is exciting, right? I'm going to give you insights to help you see clearly what's keeping you stuck. Because as a life coach, that's what we do. We help people get unstuck. I particularly serve high-achieving women of faith who've been through betrayal, trauma, or abuse, and want to reclaim territory in their relationship with themselves. The hard work is what's missing in a lot of the formula we get from personal and professional development. So they tell you all the strategies, but if your heart isn't right, it doesn't even matter. You can say the right words and do the magic spell, and it still doesn't work. It's the hard work that needs to happen. So, we'll also share some things right now today you can do to create radical results in every area of your life. I have 7 points on how to get from trauma to 10x. But I will not do 7 today. I will do 3. Because we have a few minutes. All right. So, if you're taking notes or she's recording, maybe you can catch me. You can catch the replay. We'll put it on Instagram or something like that. Okay. But number 1, clarity, understanding how trauma is affecting your bottom line. So I wrote this for empowered women. A lot of women that I serve are entrepreneurs of some sort, or out there making a difference in some sort of miraculous way or marvelous way. That's what we use today. Some sort of marvelous way. And a lot of times you can just get stuck. It can almost feel like you're running, but there's something pulling you, keeping you from progressing. And we go to events and we read books and we search online for what's going to get us untethered, and we never consider trauma. We never consider whatever happened because we're really good at surviving. We're incredibly skilled at surviving and adapting and making it through every day. And that's good, but survival and destiny are 2 different skill sets. Learning how to survive and then learning how to progress are 2 different skill sets. So it's really important to get clarity around what's holding you back. Our experience shapes our beliefs that hold our action capacity in shackles. That means I won't choose the opportunity that will take me further if I'm bound with the trauma. Okay? That's what gets me stuck. I don't consider opportunities. They may come in front of me, but I'm like, that's not for me. Right? Because of identity, because of trauma. Okay? Sorry if there's no one. So, I have to go fast. All right, point 2, keep going. Point 2, cycle breaking. The key to finally stop playing small. Women play small all the time, and we are excellent. Like we're goddamn generous. We're like kids, and we're working, and we got faith communities, and we're volunteering with the PTA, and we're like doing all the stuff. But when it's time to do something for you, play small. Right? That's a cycle. That's a cycle. And for a lot of women, you see it showing up in your life. You're a fantastic supporter, but when it's time to get support for you, oh, I don't want to ask anybody. I don't say anything. I don't want to. That's playing small. It's literally what it is. And it serves no one. It serves no one. Okay? So we can play to win instead of playing not to lose, which is entirely, like I said, different skill set. Number 3, Number 3, Credo. This is how to get to 10x in all your areas. We have a mode of operation. We have a regular way that we do things. We can change that regular way. How do you know if your regular way is working? Look at your results. Look at what's going on in your life. If you like it, good. If you don't like it, you can change your way of operating. Okay, I'm only going to give you, I have so much. I'm only going to give you one key for how to change that mode of operation, okay? If you've heard of Marie Kondo, who's heard of Marie Kondo, the clean lady, right? Like, inspires and kind of intimidates. Okay, so she talks about, like, you pick up a thing, and if it sparks joy, you keep it, and if it doesn't, you get rid of it, right? And they make all the jokes about, like, the kids, or, that doesn't spark joy, I'm going to get rid of it, right? So, if you know that that's a mode of operation, so it's a key, it's a strategy, it's something to remember that you can apply to all of your decisions. I have one for you, and it's I choose life. Choosing life is something that you can apply to all of your decisions. What does that look like? You're a nurse, and you're a weight loss nurse, so what does that look like? I choose life means if I'm going to choose the apple or the donut, which one is going to give me life? Right? So that's a really easy choice. Right? We're like, the donut, often all. Great, yes. But also, when you're choosing between how to live, when you're choosing between who to love, when you're choosing between the occupation for you, when you're choosing even what you put on in the morning, you can choose what moves you forward instead of just what's the easiest. So my survival mode says I'm going to choose what's easiest, what's quickest, what gets me on to the next thing fastest, right? That's useful in crisis. That is not useful sustainably. Because we only get so many days. We only get so many days, and then it's done. And we can get to the end. Somebody else serves older folks. When you get to the end, you've lost your physical ability to do the stuff you wanted to do before. And we keep waiting. One day. It never comes. It never comes. We can choose life now. And what does that mean? Well, I have all these limitations. You do what you can where you are with what you have. Do what you can where you are with what you have. Because you have enough to go a little further out of the comfort zone. And that's where growth is, that's where the blessings are, that's where the promise is, that's where all the good stuff that we're trying to do with surviving, like we're surviving, trying to get the good stuff, that is ineffective. That's the best word I can use for it. Surviving just means to stop, like you're in the next day. That's all you've done, which is a good thing in crisis. But after a while, you have an opportunity to go further, and choosing life is the way to do that. I have communities of ladies that choose life together. I have a book over there at the table. I also have events. An event called Choose Life Cafe, where ladies get together and grow and love and be sweet, y'all. We spend a lot of time hiding in a lot of ways hiding. We hide in our clothes, we hide in our schedules, we hide in our work, we hide in relationships, we hide in ministries. We're very good at like, look at me. Or don't look at the real me, like look at the representative. But our hearts long to be seen and heard. And I create sacred spaces where that happens, where you can unpack trauma in a safe environment, where there's ladies who are just going to see you and love you and hold you, and nobody's judging because all of the stuff is taken out. All of our stuff. So there's no judgment. We do that on little individual in-person opportunities like Choose Life Cafe. We do that in larger 3-day VIP healing retreats called Sanctuary Experience. The next one of that coming up in the fall in September. I also coach on an individual and group level. I have a series called Reclaim, where we are reclaiming territory, y'all, and it's amazing. Okay. This is good. It's only like 14 minutes. I thought it was going to be way over. So glad. Okay, so I know hear good stuff, and then we're like, that was amazing, and then we just go on to our lives. Our mode of operation is all regular again. The way we make that difference is to connect and to build community. So I invited you to a Choose Life Nation. We call ourselves Choose Life Nation. And I invited you to connect with me so we can grow together. instead of just passion for things. All right? That's it, y'all. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And I'd love to have a chat with you over the table.
That's okay. You did a great job.
It sounds like